can't trust you. Yeah. So I throw down my cards for you. Walk the road less traveled for you. With my last breath, I say you are. No, I ain't counting on them. No. I put my hope in you, Lord. I know you say what you do. I won't believe what I see, but I believe what you say. 'Cause I put my hope in you, Lord. You are all I got left. So I'm counting on you. I ain't counting on them, no. Put my hope in you, Lord. I know you say what you do. I won't believe what I see, but I believe what you said, yeah. I put my hope in you, Lord. You're all I got left. You're my hope.
Welcome on in to the Men's Empowerment and Virtual Lounge. I'm your boy D-Rob. Man, listen, I'm so glad you guys connected, man, with me. I just want to say welcome and thank you for taking time to chime in with your boy. Man, it's just exciting, man. It's exciting to come together with a group of men, man, really to really bring impact this day. Do me a favor, if you're watching the replay, go ahead, like the page. That's right. Subscribe to the page. That way, when new videos come up, yep, you can be the first to get it. Oh, let me say this while I'm thinking about it. I do not own the rights to that music. That's Jael's Psalms 130 and 5. Beautiful psalmist. I really like that. I particularly like that cut of hers on her album. If you don't know who she is, go look her up. Jael, Giel. God is eternal life. Amazing artist. So listen, man. Today, guys, we're talking 4 lessons to building better relationships. Yep. That's what we're talking today. So if you're getting ready to rock with me, if you're watching me or you're under the sound of my voice, man, I want you to do one thing for me. Go ahead and share the feed right now. Go ahead, share the feed. Because you never know who's out there can benefit from what we talk about today, man. So go ahead, like the page, share the feeds. Simple principles, man, that you can take and apply to in your own life to help you build those and forge those stronger relationships for yourself. So that's what it's about. I'm just pretty excited. We're gonna get this thing kicked off. 4 lessons for building better relationships, right? And so the question I raised today is this. Are there relationships that you want to improve? Is there a relationship that you want to improve? Maybe it's there's some broken communication there, and you want to improve that. Maybe you want to improve in communicating with others. What's happening there? What's some of those things that you want to improve on for yourself, right? What's been some of the obstacles? I want you to think about this. What's been some of the obstacles and challenges in some of your relationships that you've been having, right? What's been some of those obstacles? Think about that for me too. What's been some of the obstacles that you've been facing? Who are the people that you want to build better relationship with? I want you to just think about that. You know what I'm saying? Put that in perspective. Think about that. Why is improving those relationships important to you? What makes that important to you? You know, think about those. Those are things I want you to consider here as we prepare to move to advance this thing forward, right? And so when I think about this, when I think about building better relationships and building better communications, can I be honest? Can I be honest with you? Your boy had to learn the hard way, man. Really had to learn the hard way to improve those relationships that are important to him, that were important to him. And so I'm just curious to know what relationships do you have in your life that was important to you? You know, some relationship that was important to me that I wanted to improve on was that of my marriage. You know, even the relationship with my kids. You know, some of the communication was broken. Some of the connection was broken, and we as men, I believe that we face certain challenges, and I don't want to tap into that just yet, but we're gonna get into these. We're gonna tap into some of those challenges. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have you feed me too in the chat some of the challenges that you think you may have you experienced in your own relationships. You know, when it comes to your building your own relationships, what's been some of those challenges that you've experienced in your own relationships? You know, in the chat, drop in the chat for me one or two challenges that you might have faced. Okay, the differences about opinions about men and women being in fault in breakups and custody. While you went, okay, Stephen, I got you. So we talking broken marriages and child custody here? I'm assuming, yeah. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I guess there can be different opinions as far as what with men and women as far as breakups and child custody.
For me, it's just been, you know, when it comes to the tenderness of the situation between me and my mom growing up, and then also between the relationship that happened between my son's mother and myself, I find myself at a lot of times at odds with other women. So I might go to them to speak about, you know, and especially another loved woman, you know, like my fiance right now. They might not really understand what it's like to have to go through that frustration that, okay, I had to walk away. I had to bow out as gracefully as a man robbed of his child possibly could in this situation. Oh, but what part did you have in it? But what did you do? Oh, but what about this? Oh, but what about Susie and her boyfriend? A lot of times I ain't worried about that. I'm talking about my situation. If we could validate that and communicate based off what I'm speaking to you about, not what Susie and all them went through, then I start to feel that we're getting somewhere, even just to talk about it without it being I'm all the way at fault or what I'm saying doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Sometimes the importance of some of the things that we face are wanting to be heard, having our opinions matter. You know, maybe we just want the respect of other people because we might be feeling a little bit undervalued. You know, maybe we just tired of arguing with our spouses, our loved ones. And can I be honest, man? For me, it was just I was tired. I was tired of the bickering. I was tired of the back and forth and arguing. And I had to figure things out. I had to figure out how can I mend or mold this particular relationship. How can we get this thing back in connection? You know, how can we get some oneness, right? And the first thing I realized in trying to build that relationship with my own family was this, that I had to learn to lead myself well. I had to learn to lead myself well in that situation. And I had to learn to lead myself well by showing her how that her conversation was equally important. If that makes sense. Get into a place where I would just hush and listen. You know, practice that. Just practice hush and listening. Get concerned about what was on her heart and mind. You know, whereas that it opened up further conversation, and now I can kind of pour into her through that. A couple of challenges that I think men experience, right? One of them is, when I think about it today, 36% of men, when they are in going through some troubles or trials, they often, instead of calling a friend, a male friend, or talking to their spouse, they connect with their parents. They call mama. I'm just curious to know, does anybody call mama? What Steve said, how many call the other woman? Okay, I love it. Yeah. How many of them call the other woman, right? Yeah, you're right. How many of them call the other woman? But it's noted that, man, the first thing most guys do is they call their parents, or they call mom. You know, I'll admit to that. when going through some of the challenges, when going through some of the struggles, I often revert back to seeking advice from my parents because we find these challenges. We haven't found that equilibrium in our own life. We haven't built the relationship with other men who can help impact us, offer inspire us, or even influence us to a level of change that we. For men, sexual relationship is equally important, right? This is this place where men find their value in the relationship. You know, they feel loved in the relationship because they're getting what they want. You know, they're getting what they think they want, right? And I believe it's this having this can be a challenge for men because if they don't get sex, you don't get the sex that you desire, now all of a sudden things shift in you mentally. Think about that. You know, this is what I realized and I understand about women. Once a woman is in a relationship, she ain't interested in all that touchy feely. She ain't interested in having all this a whole sex every night. She's looking for the intimacy. She want the conversation. She want to spend the time with you. However, we as men, we equate having sex as being loved, as being nurtured, as being cared for. When I believe the two are different, right? And so when you don't get the sex, all of a sudden you internalize it as one or two things. Maybe, well, she's seeing somebody else. Or well, she really don't care for me, or she don't love me like she used to, you know. And now we're in our head about what's happening, what's going on, and it is tearing up our relationship. How many guys been in that place where because mama didn't, and I ain't talking about your mama, I'm talking about Shorty. Shorty didn't want to act right that night, or she didn't act right in the last 2 weeks. And now you in your head about what you think she's doing and why you ain't getting none. You know, and we get in our head about it, and now all of a sudden, communication or the relationship is tethered, right? It's tearing down, it's breaking up because guys feel or found their self-worth in having sex. Yep. Equating their relationships, their love, that care and nurturing to having sex. And now their self-worth is diminished. And because their self-worth is diminished, now the relationship in itself in a whole is being diminished, right? It's being diminished. So today, man, I want to give you, I want you to think about this, man, as we get ready to move forward, right? Before I close this thing out, because I want to hit on 4 principles that I want you to take and tuck in your pocket, right? But before we get into that, I want you to think about this. Here we go. I want you to consider 2 most important people in your life. You know, think about the 2 most important people in your life that you want to cultivate a stronger relationship with, that you want to build the stronger relationship. I want you to identify those 2 people, write their names down, and then I want you to just start giving some thought. What's their strengths? What's their weaknesses? What do they like? What motivates them? You know, what inspires them? Just think about it. You don't have to be right, but you can just kind of think a few things, because I think the 2 people that you identify are going to be 2 people that you truly care about the most, right? They're going to be the 2 people that you care about the most. And as you write those 2 names down, right, I want you to take the third. I want you to write one more name down, and this time I want you to write your name down, right? I want you to identify for yourself. What's your strength? What's your limitations? What's your weakness? What motivates you? What inspires you? And how do you like to communicate? Think about that. I'm not asking you what's your 5 love languages. I'm just asking, how do you like to communicate? You know, how do you like to respond, to connect with people? How do you want to build better relationships? But this is what I believe. This is what I believe. For you to get to the place where you're building stronger and and better relationships within your family dynamics, whether that's with your significant other, your spouse, your loved one, your kids, or within your community, whoever it is, the person at the office, whoever it is. I believe that it first starts with you. I believe it first starts with you. And you got to get real clear about who you are, what's some of your limitations, how you like to communicate. In consideration, the two names that you wrote down, the two people that you identified that you want to build these relationships with. I want you to I want you to start thinking about how you can, ready? How can you connect better with them? That's what I want you to begin to start doing. How can I connect better with them? You know, when I think when for me, when I started this journey, when I was trying to build a stronger relationship, a better relationship, the truth is it started with me. And then I start identifying and listening. I start listening to some of the things that were being said to me from my significant other, from my wife. I started listening to what was being said to me. And as I began to just shut my mouth and I began to listen, I began to start hearing some distinct things that she was saying, you know, and then I would ask myself the hard questions. Do I do that? Am I responding like that? Am I overlooking this? Did I not do what she said I needed to do? And some guys think that this is a place of where she's nagging you. And you'll say, well, she's always nagging. No, I believe that when you take time, you take a step back, look at yourself from one perspective, and get to understand the perspective of the other. You begin to understand that hear what the other person is saying. And in so many words, you'll begin to realize that some of your complaints are the same, just said differently. You know, some of your complaints are the same, but said differently. So what I began to find was my wife and I were making the same complaints. You know, she would make the complaint, well, I need help. You're not helping. And my complaint was, well, you ain't did nothing. You know, that's the same complaint, but said differently. You know, and as I began to understand what she was asking of me, I need, you know, I can use a little bit more help around the house. Can you do that? Can you do this and can you do that? I began to start taking mindful consideration of what she was saying to me in consideration, and I began to start shifting some things in my own life. Remember, I said this, that building relationships start with helping. I'm not supporting around the house. I began to start helping and supporting around the house. When I would get up out of bed, I would turn around, make the bed. Mm-hmm. When if I saw dishes in the sink, I would come in, wash the dishes up, clean the kitchen up, whatever the case may be. And what had begun to start happening was a shift in the relationship. There had begun a shift in the relationship. Now, my wife was, I mean, don't get me wrong, this didn't happen overnight either, right? But now my wife didn't feel like she was complaining or nagging me, but because I took the time to understand, one, myself, and two, understand her, I began to start and take a step back, look at the complaints, register the complaints, and see how I can make it better. How can I make this relationship better? What can I do to improve on it? How can I communicate my care, my love, and nurture this relationship? And oftentimes we can do that by just adjusting ourselves and making the needed adjustments to make that corresponds with her. This is what I often like to tell people. We often hear the golden rule, right? Treat people like they want to be treated. I want to share the golden rule I want to shift that golden rule to the platinum rule, right? I want you to get to a place where you begin to treat people how they prefer to be treated. You know, that's a different relationship building. No longer am I treating you how I want to be treated, but now I am at this place where I treat you how you desire to be treated. And much of the complaints was that, hey, I need help. You're not helping. And when I began to start helping out, I began to shift the dynamics in the relationship because now I was treating her in the manner in which she wanted to be treated. See, some of the nagging that you're hearing isn't really nagging. She's telling you how to treat her. And you're receiving it in a negative connotative way versus receiving it in an open cognitive way where you can understand her, where you understand, okay, this is my strength, this is my weaknesses, and this is how I like to communicate. At the same time, I've identified her strengths, her weaknesses, what motivates her, how she likes to communicate, and once I identified that, I understood how I can make the needed adjustments for myself. 4 lessons, right? The first lesson is for us as men, I want you to get to a place where you begin to simply value people, value others. Just that simple. Get to this place to value people. See, the truth is you value what's in your heart, and to get to this place to value people, you got to get to this place where you actually love on people. That's what I'm telling you, to love on people, just love on people. Get to this place where you start showing respect to people. See, every relationship should be centered around and focused with a respect. How do I show respect to you? How do I show you that I value you? How do I show you that I love you? That I want to nurture this relationship. Get to the place where you are honestly and open to valuing people. See, John Maxwell said this: you can't increase your people capacity unless you get to a place of valuing people. That's number 1. 2, I want you to get to a place where you're creating memories. You can't be in a relationship with those that you don't know. Just that simple. I don't know what relationship you want to build or that you want to improve on, but get to the place where you are creating memories. In essence, I want you to share some experiences together, because shared experiences equate to time spent together, meaning that as you spend time together, you are learning and growing together. Yep. And this is going to help you better understand that it's significant other strengths, limitations, what motivates them, and how they like to be treated. See, great times are built on building or creating awesome memories, right? You got those 2, right? Next, I want you to get to the next 3rd lesson, right? Is to build trust. Yep. Trust is essential in any relationship. See, and it's developed by creating memories, by spending time together, by having those experiences, right? Also, trust helps you sustain your relationships. See, many of us men in our relationships, we've broken the trust. We've broken the trust by all the cheating. We've broken the trust by all the lying. We've broken the trust by promising to do things that we never did. We've broken the trust. And I want you to get to the place where you rebuild the trust, creating memories, spending time together, but also following through and do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do will help build trust in relationship. And the last lesson, listen, realize this, that every relationship is a give or take. Just that simple. Relationships don't thrive being one-sided. You just can't be the giver, or neither can you just be the receiver. It must be a mutual give and take that benefits both parties. And so in that, realize that, at least for my practice, I removed treating people how I wanted to be treated, and I replaced it with treating people how they prefer to be treated. And that was my give and take. It was how I learned to manifest better relationships. So I close this thing out, man. 4 lessons for building stronger relations. 1, value people. 2, create memories. 3, build trust. And 4, give and take. Relationships are transactional, meaning while we understand there's a give and take, the truth is you have to put some effort in them. Just that simple. Well, I mentioned the word effort because I need you to get this as we close this thing out. You get a different effort or a different result when you give 100% versus when you give 30%. Did you get that? You get a different result when you give 100% effort versus when you give 30% effort to any relationship. And if you're looking to build better relationships, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to make the needed adjustments. You're going to have to put some effort in to building better relationships. Listen, man, I want to say thank you for taking time for rocking with your boy today on Men's Empowerment and Virtual Lounge. Listen, you can rock with me every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All you got to do is go ahead, click this link, or go over to the webpage, DwayneHRoberts.com. There you can register to be part of the live conversation. Wow. Have an amazing night with purpose. God bless.